So we are quickly approaching Cancer season. There's a lot going on, like usual. I think we're actually towards the end of June when I'm making this video, going into the next month, and I just kind of wanted to, make a reality check video. I just think that the current energy, and whenever you watch this video and this message resonates for you, it's going to resonate. There is no time frame on when this message can be in relation to your own situation. But I really was thinking about a couple things, and funny enough, I think Beyonce, we all know Beyonce dropped her song. I think it was yesterday evening. And the title of her song was Break My Soul. And the title was very interesting. And just this era, these weird times we're living in, I'm realizing that a lot of artists are making music about, breaking free and, changing their life and protecting their energy. And I think it's really good. I think that we're in a really, really interesting creative age where people are using their talents or using their gifts or, things of nature and their platform to, man, it was itchy, to spread awareness basically. It's early, it's really early, you all. So if I sneeze and it's allergies and I went outside, it's a lot going on. So I like how, just observing like people's reaction to, the current times we're living in. I like the energy that I'm seeing where people are like, if you don't like something, you don't have to keep doing it. If you're not happy in a situation, you don't have to keep putting yourself in a situation. And I think that's really powerful. And I think it's a message that for 2022 and beyond, I think that especially women should not be sleeping on. I think there's been so many decades, so many eras where, people have been unhappy, have been abused, have been in toxic situations, have put themselves last. And this is why it's so important to put yourself first, because when you're putting yourself first, and for one, your intuition, right? Your intuition is not going to lead you astray. Whatever your intuition is telling you is most likely going to be right. And I think it's so funny how people in general, like our human nature in general, is to go outside of ourselves, to try to get answers from everybody else, from everything else. And a lot of times when we're we're really busy, life is happening, especially for those who have kids, for those who have high, responsibilities, obligations, they get distracted. You know what I'm saying? People get easily distracted because life is always going. Even in your sleep, life is happening. You wake up and life is happening. Life is never ceases. Like even when you're sleeping, like something is always happening around you. So I think that it's very easy for people to get caught up, and they try to like push their intuition aside or ignore their intuition because somebody's telling them something, or there's peer pressure, societal pressure, or religious pressure. There's some kind of outside energy trying to penetrate in and tell you that no, you're wrong. What you're feeling is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. There's always going to be some kind of outside energy trying to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. And so in my own life and just witnessing human nature and living life like we all are, I think it's safe to say that, this I think could be a turning point for the collective where people are beginning to put themselves first again and not last. And that trickles into health. It trickles into what kind of money you make, what kind of job you work, how you live your life, who you include in your life, the kind of romantic partners you have. Like if we're really like conscious and aware of it, it will filter into our daily lives. And so what I've really, began to look closer at is that when you do that, there's no way that your day can be bad. There's no way that if you're living how you want to live and you're being true to yourself and you're putting yourself first, there's no way that somebody can play you. There's no way that you could be stuck in an unhappy relationship or job. There's just no way. And so what happens is when you put yourself first and when you begin to value your energy and you begin to stand up for yourself, standing up for yourself, there's always, I'm going to tell you, because, I remember way back, well, not way back then, but I would say maybe around last year and the last year or in general, like this might be like summertime, end of the year, sometimes I would get emails, I get comments asking me about, how do you deal with a bad person at work? How do you deal with, a twin flame who's cheating on you? How do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? And what I'm coming to realize is like, you don't have to deal with that. It is a choice. And what I'm saying is that when you choose yourself and when you choose to not live in negative energy and you choose to pick and choose people that you want around you and you become more selective and you become more you prioritize your own happiness, you are going to look like the villain. That's like the harsh reality that people, I think, are really afraid of. Is like they don't want to be the villain. They don't want people to dislike them, especially if they're a people pleaser. I never really understood. I really never understood what that meant. I've always, like high school and up, I always heard, the phrase people pleaser tossed around, but I never really understood it because I'd never been it. I've always like did my own thing, and regardless of criticism or people bullying me or whatever, like I've always like just done what I want to do, even if it's been a problem. I've always been the kind of person to have my boundaries, and I think that as I get older, I have even more boundaries and I have even less I'll tolerate, and I know what ticks me off. I know what makes me upset. Like I know myself. I mean, that's the gift of getting older. So when people say, I hate getting older, I hate, well, be careful of what you're saying, because with age, with experience, with living life, the more you live life, the more experience you have. And so wisdom is coming from observing your environment, observing other people's lives, and pulling the lessons and the wisdom and the smart words and lessons from people who have maybe had a similar situation or have gone through what you're going through, and taking the lesson out of it and applying it to your own life. That's what a smart person would do, right? So that's what I've done. And every walk of life, different jobs I've had, different ways, of life, I've been able to like really study how human nature is. And I've really been able to pay attention to my own life, when I'm doing really, really good or when I'm just having a regular day, I see the difference. And the key difference is putting yourself first. I would not consider myself to be religious. I do believe in a universal, source. That's how I see it. They say God, whatever, like, I don't really want to put a name on it, but, I do believe like in a positive, I would say a positive higher power. The details of that is more personal, I would say. But, for example, I'll give you guys an example, like getting up in the morning and praying. And praying for me is not like a religious or traditional kind of thing. It's like you're having a conversation with the all-knowing. You're having a conversation with the universe. I see things differently. So I know people that are more religious are not going to like what I'm saying, but I don't care. For me, it's like even carving out that time to just speak out in the atmosphere what I want my day to be like, what I want to see change in my life, or whatever, a close relationship, like just speaking that out in the atmosphere, it changes things, and I wouldn't even say a prayer because it's more of a conversation. Praying is more of like a one-way street in a way. but having like more of a conversation and then checking in with your intuition, your gut feeling, and then asking yourself, okay, what does this all mean? And carving out time for yourself to not ignore the signs, not ignore your gut feeling. You know, I could say from experience and what I keep seeing repeated in society and in our communities and all these things happening in the world is people need to follow their gut. People need to listen to their gut feeling. I know other gurus and people make fun of it and they say, oh, that's stupid. Well, it's never failed me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's never failed you. Like, if you, all it simply means, like, that's why, like, the words, you know, like, our language, our human language kind of fails us sometimes. You know, there's not really words to describe everything we want to say, right? But, what it simply means is you're in tune. That's basically all it means, is that you are in tune. You are in tune with what you're feeling. And you're not going to let anybody tell you the opposite. You're not going to let anything persuade you in a down a different bad, treacherous path. What it means is that everything you're feeling from the second you go to sleep, from the second you wake up, should be in your control if you can help it. And that's where, you know, prayer, meditation, keeping positive people around you, you know, and I want to say something a little controversial. It could go even as deep as romantic relationships, family, you know, your boss. I mean, there may be people, you know, in your life that you're not aware of who are snakes, who are energetic vampires, who are stealing your life force. And as I get older, this is what I'm realizing, is that some people that, whether you're a people pleaser or you care too much or you're so-called empath or you're sensitive or whatever title people want to throw on, you know, all this jargon, is like, the people, some people that are in your life or some things in your life that you're trying to hold on to is a very thing that's stopping you. That's stopping your progress. That's stopping your victory. That's stopping your life from leveling up to where it needs to be and you being a happy person. You know, I mean, happiness is a choice. And not so much in a sense of your networks in your body switching up your responses and all this. It's not so much like that. It's just more so when people say happiness is a choice, I feel like what they mean now is like, you are going to decide if you want somebody to wreck your life, to wreck your day, to wreck your moment or not. Like, these things are going to happen. Sadly, the world we live in and the way things are, you know, sometimes there is people who are negative, you know. Sometimes, I think my cat's outside. 1 second, you all. He's not supposed to be outside, but he always runs out. I don't know why he does this. You know, choices. Who is that? I don't hear anybody. I swear I heard somebody meowing. That's weird. Anyway, I don't know what that's about. But, I think like now, like from experience, what I think what it means is like, you don't let people like mess up your day. You know, you don't let things affect you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you handle it, you do your best, but you're not gonna be stuck from it. And this is what I'm seeing with just the world, you know, people in general, is when they're seeking. Why do I hear something again? 1 second, you all. I don't know what that noise is.